Welcome to My Travel Window and today's 5-minute port review. In today's episode we're going to cover perhaps my favorite ancient archaeological site, the ancient city of Ephesus. Stay tuned. So what is it that makes Ephesus my favorite? 3 things: size, quality, and relatability. Let's start with size. Some of you may have been to Pompeii and seen the ancient ruins there and been impressed with the size of Pompeii. That archaeological site covers approximately 160 acres or a little more. You could fit 7 of these into the site of Ephesus, which covers more than 1,000 acres or approximately 1.5 square miles. That's because at the height of the Roman Empire, this was the largest city outside of Rome. Now, 1,000 acres doesn't mean much if the site is just a low rock pile. That brings us to point number 2. Ephesus is also one of the best preserved of all the sites in Mediterranean. The streets are intact. Many edifices are still erect. The amphitheatre is impressively well preserved. The layout of the marketplace is easy to decipher. You can recognize the neighborhoods as you pass. It takes very little imagination to picture exactly what the city looked like in its heyday. And if your imagination needs a little boost, there's one section in town called the terrace houses where the wealthy citizens used to live. It has been restored. The original mosaics are surrounded with modern-day reconstructions of the houses of the day. The city is so well preserved because of the way it was abandoned. When the seaport silted up, the citizens all abandoned the city and relocated to the coast. It was now so remote from populations that its ruins were not rated for other structures, as happened to so many other ancient cities. Finally, the relatability issue. No matter who you are, you can relate to the things you see here. If you like ancient history, if you're a student of Rome, you can see more of what a Roman city looked like in the day than you can see in Rome itself. If you're a student of the Bible, you'll recognize the place where Paul spent most of his time and started a riot. And everyone can marvel at the fantastic 2,000-year-old architecture and the marvels of underground plumbing, beautiful mosaics, public toilets, and temples turned into churches by adding a cross to the entrance. This is the place from which John was banished to the Isle of Patmos for refusing to worship the emperor. So how do you get here? Cruise ships will dock in the port town of Kuşadası, shown here. It's particularly imposing at night. Look for the lightest statue of Ataturk on the hillside. He's the founder of modern-day Turkey. I'll give you 4 tour suggestions. Number 1, since the port is a half hour from the site, and Turkey is not a place where I'd want to miss the boat, I would give myself plenty of leeway to get back to the ship on time. The first time we stopped, we were on a celebrity ship and had a lengthy day in port. We booked a Viator tour that included Ephesus and 2 other fascinating places, Didymus and Miletus. Didymus is rarely visited and is fascinating. Miletus was visited by the Apostle Paul. It was an awesome tour, but on our second trip on Norwegian, the ship was in port a shorter length of time. Worried about the tight timing, we booked a ship excursion so we could guarantee the ship would not leave without us. Number 2, it's possible to explore Ephesus on your own, but I wouldn't do that. The guides add so much information you'll never be able to pick it up on your own, and they take you through the site efficiently. We prefer small group tours here especially. To me, the only downside of using a guide is the mandatory stop at a rug shop somewhere along the route. 3, the terrace houses are a second admission fee and take more time. If this is important to you, make sure your tour includes them. 4, and finally, be prepared for heat and sunshine. We toured first time in September, and it was well over 90 degrees with sun reflected off the white surfaces everywhere. Use sunscreen and hydrate. If you have the option to go to Ephesus, take the opportunity. You won't regret it. If you like this video, check out others like it here, and be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, safe travels.